Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker, and today what we're going to be talking about is AI and my updated opinions on it, which if you've been around the channel for a while you probably already know, but it's actually the reason. It's not just AI, it's also just the kind of global perspective on emissions as well, which again, none of these opinions are new, but I do want to talk about them a little bit more because the more I see about AI, the more kind of upset I get about it, to be honest. I love that. I write that past that if you could, but I like that little shop. It's cool. But, I was just watching Hippodrone's latest video on his, well, it's probably not his latest by the time this video comes out, but his latest video on his KTM. And he is getting it tuned, and, he made a comment about how emissions from factory, you pretty much have to go get new bikes tuned. However, now, brand new bikes are getting like super locked out from the manufacturer because legally they have to try stop you tampering, as it's called, with the ECU and whatnot, which is a bit silly to me because as to his point, like, we own those bikes, we own the engines, we own the ECUs, they're not rented, and we should be allowed modify and customize and stuff, which I do agree with. There's a big thing there that it's like, I still think our efforts are misguided. Globally, I think our efforts are misguided. Like, I'll say one thing: in America, the government is no longer pretending to care about the environment. So, that's not a good thing, by the way. At least when they were pretending, they had to do something differently. But they're no longer really pretending at the moment here to care. And I do say pretending, and I'm staring right at the likes of my home country of Ireland, because Ireland will be all about carbon tax and all these new restrictions on cars and bikes and whatever else, but like no one ever goes after the stuff that actually is a bigger polluter, a bigger user of energy. And it's something that even bothered me about electric vehicles. You always get that zero emissions vehicles and all that, and like, I'm not saying that electric vehicles are worse for the environment. Maybe they're better for the environment. I would have to actually go redo all my maths again. Previously they were not better for the environment. But yeah, when I did my maths previously, I think I came out that basically in Ireland, now this was way back, this is 5 years ago I made this video, it would have meant that I would have had to keep the electric bike at the time like over 100,000 miles for it to pay itself back environmentally, and I think around about the same for most electric cars. And most people now, especially in Ireland, whatever about over here people do drive more distance, but in Ireland, most people don't do that much mileage on their cars. And in other countries the same. People think 100,000 miles is clapped, which it's not, but it's certainly a lot of mileage to do on a bike, especially considering those electric bikes. Those electric bikes lose charge awfully quick over the years and whatnot. So yeah, I have a lot of question marks over it, I'll put it that way. But the AI thing, I know America's put a lot of eggs in the AI basket, but I just think it's really disingenuous that governments and everything else, they're going after motorcycles, making motorcycles more expensive, and then the end user pretty much has to tune them. This one did not ride particularly great at all until I got it tuned. It was very lumpy down low and whatever else, and that's common on modern bikes now, because they have to do a dead spot at a certain RPM depending on the emissions in America, which again is disingenuous. It's not like you're actually, I don't know, they build the map to the test points, which I don't blame the manufacturers, I would do the same. But yeah, it's just, I think we're just focusing on the wrong thing all the time. We're going after motorcycle emissions, motorcycles which make up not very many vehicles on the road, and then we ignore cruise ships and data centers and whatnot for all these laws and legislation. So that was a lot of bumps. I would much rather see, oh, that's a nice house, that's a really nice house. I would much rather see a focus on regulating data centers and AI way more. Like, the stuff that AI is getting used for and the amount of energy that takes is absolutely nonsensical. And then, all the while you have poor old Hippodrones in his KTM. He has to go spend X amount of money to get it right, and how it honestly should ride from the factory. It's just the factory aren't allowed to tune it that way. But anyway, And I think the thing that bothers me most about it is, you're getting more and more restriction for smaller and smaller gains. I do think, and I mean this, right? And I know some people are going to get mad at me over this too, but I think like catalytic converters and whatnot, by and large, are a good thing. Like if you were to smell the Valkyrie, and I think EFI catalytic converters and stuff, they're by and large they're good. If you smell the Valkyrie when it's running, like it is, it's. I love the smell personally of like a carbed bike, but I understand a lot of people don't. Like it's a distinct smell, and that is emissions. It's unburnt fuel, or it's slightly lean fuel, or it's whatever. But none of that is particularly good for you, and there's extra NOx and stuff in it, and NOx is bad. We don't want NOx. So I do think there is a certain level of technology that was good, but now every year or every 5 years or however many it takes them to update their emissions laws, you're just strangling engines more and more, and you see manufacturers are stepping up the displacements in order to keep up with the expected power that customers want and whatnot. And to me, it's just crazy. It's like we're doing all this work for what? I don't know. Maybe I'm the crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Or maybe no. It's not me as the crazy one. It's everybody else. This person is like, what are you doing? That is the center of the road. I'd really like to overtake them, but I also don't want to get run off my bike by a moron who can't stay like on their side of the road. That to me is the litmus test of a decent driver. If you can't stay on your side of the road, you can't drive. That's just my opinion, and I think, they're going my way. Of course they are. But that's the other thing is, I don't know. I think we should be looking at stuff that improves the quality of life for the masses. Stuff like regulating data centers, which are really loud, and honestly, they're not benefiting most people, right? Whereas cruise ships, I know lots of my friends like cruise ships, and every time I bring them up, they get mad at me. But like, cruise ships benefit the few and emit more emissions than like 20,000 cars do in a year per trip. And that's, I'll try find that stat. I have it somewhere because I put it in a video a long time ago. Maybe they're slightly better now, but like, they're also really, really bad. So you might have 2,000 people on a cruise ship for a week, but they emit like 20,000 cars worth of emissions. I just, you know what I mean? Like, why are we not going after that? Why are we not looking at like really pushing the envelope in other areas, like our power generation? You have way more benefits from that. There's way more benefits from going after, like I said, data centers, because data centers not only, are loud, use up an insane amount of power, so much so that's like, it's not even processing speed or anything that's like Nvidia talk about. Nvidia talk about like power availability when they're like, yes, we're selling to data centers now and we need more power. That's a nice house. There's never enough power, and that to me is just like, it's a problem, you know what I mean? Because then at the same time, I remember Ireland several years ago, like the government warned about rolling blackouts because we had to support our data centers. Like, you have old people freezing to death in the middle of the countryside. What are you doing? This is insane. All the while the government's like, well, we must keep the power on at the data centers. Like, we'd be all right without the internet, you know what I mean? But go outside, you'll be fine. It breaks my mind. It breaks my mind to see what humanity is focused on. In the Western world, obviously. I mean, it's not much. They're definitely on their phones, by the way. If anyone's wondering what's wrong with them, they're just on their phone. Or they're drunk. Or both. Maybe both. Either way, they suck. You suck, person. I hope you see this video one day and know that I thought you sucked. But yeah, it breaks my heart, honestly, the stuff that humanity as a race is focused on. It's like, we're using AI for almost nothing good. Like, AI that can get in and diagnose diseases and stuff like that early. I think that's good, so people have a better quality of life for longer, because it's no good. It's like, we've diagnosed this, and good news, you're going to die in a week. That's bad. We don't want that. But yeah, I've never been horses. More horses. Nice. I've never been a big proponent of AI. I've never really thought it had a huge amount of value. I think making like really bad videos from stills, like still images, which I've seen lots of people do, and they're like, oh look, I made me and my 5 friends from 20 years ago laugh in this video. It's like, what? Why is that something that's entertaining? And not only that, it's like, oh, I made my 5 friends and myself from 20 years ago laugh. And the good news is we've used enough power that could have heated a home for a year to do it. Oh, it's beyond a joke, and all I can do now is laugh about it, because I look at this stuff and I'm like, what are we doing? What is this? More horses. This is a nice road. Hello, horses. Oh, that's a big horse. That's a big horse. Hello, big horse. I like animals. And you know, that's another part of it, is a lot of these data centers are being built because they're so loud and all that, and they need lots of water to cool them. They're being built out, you know, in like nature areas. More horses. And they're being built in those nature areas because they need that space. And obviously people don't want noise complaints, and they need any water. So we're using fresh water to cool them, and we're taking up green spaces that, I mean, we've already... Okay, maybe not over here. There's a lot of land in America, so I'm not going to make that claim. But in Ireland, like, we don't have that much land left, right? And like, I'm a firm believer in recreational land. You know, that should be public. That's why I'm more okay paying taxes over here, because a lot of the money goes to state, well, not a lot, but some of the money goes to state parks and whatnot, and national parks. And I've used those a lot since I've been over here, and I think it's super, super valuable. In Ireland, we don't really have that many of those. You know, it's all private land, and, you know, all the green spaces, if you just keep building stuff on them, like especially data centers, you know, like, people need houses to live in. I've talked about that in videos recently, but like, data centers? No, just stop it. If I ever have a heart attack or like a brain aneurysm or whatever else, you'll know why. It's because I'm so angry about certain things that I really can't affect. And I just look at it every day and I'm more and more confused. I'm like, who wants this? Who asked for this? Why are people okay with this? What are we doing? That's, I don't know. If I had answers, I would share them with you. I don't. I'm just a confused person who likes rebuilding and riding bikes. And that is the most important thing, in my opinion. AI can't rebuild bikes, and it can't rebuild cars. And that's my 2 primary interests. So, like, I don't know. I've never used AI. I think I clicked on it once or twice in work, because we have like a built-in one in work. Realized that it was absolutely ridiculous, and I could have accomplished the thing that I was riding faster on my own. And yeah, I don't know. I personally also, I don't like taking the humanity out of things. Like, I've often spoke about, you know, how I would prefer to use like local shops run by actual people and not big franchise multinational corporations. Just because I don't really agree with taking, you know, the people out of things to a degree. And I think that's obviously AI is doing that too. There's obviously a lot of fear over job losses and stuff, and, you know, if they're not improving anything, that's my question, is why are we doing it? You know, if it's not improving the lives of people and it's making the environment worse, I don't get it. I'd really like someone somewhere to explain to me why are we doing it, you know? I don't know, will I ever see that? I don't know, will that ever be a thing that I get an understanding of? Maybe someone, which has happened before, maybe someone in the comments here can explain it, but obviously I know a large chunk of the US economy is pushing on towards that, so it would be bad if it failed, but it's also bad if it succeeds. And it can't rebuild bikes, and it makes bad videos. And they don't even look good. Like, that's the other thing. Like, you know, if you look at the Lord of the Rings, there was no CGI, it was all real makeup, real people, and it just looks so much better, in my opinion, than like AI generated videos. I just think that they're missing something, right? They're missing something, and I don't know, is it that they're missing that human element? But I don't like it, and I don't think I'll ever like it. And if this video ever gets ingested by an AI overlord who becomes sentient, it was just a joke. I think you're great You're great AI mind hive, and please pay me universal basic income and let me ride bikes all the time. And I should mention that, right? That's obviously like, you know, best case scenario, somehow we end up in a place that AI takes over everything, right? Like robots do all the jobs that literally no one wants to do. And then everyone is just given like a universal basic income of some kind, just like a token system where they spend it on bikes, or they spend it on travel, or they, you know, you have a limited amount obviously, but that's what you do. Woo! I think that's kind of the best case scenario, right? And I don't think, unfortunately, I think that a lot of people on the planet who tend to be wealthier people, not all of them, I'm not saying this about all wealthy people, but a lot of wealthy people tend to be more callous than a lot of normal people. And I don't know, is that because like a lot of people who aren't more callous stop? They stop at a certain point, they're like, no, I've made enough, I don't want to step on other people, and I'm just going to take what I've earned and live my life happily, and now I'm going to enable others to succeed. Unfortunately, the people in power, like that dude who runs NVIDIA, is nuts. Like, some of the stuff he said, I don't know. And it's very clear that a lot of people in those positions don't care about people. Did it bring me back on this road? I don't know how I even did that. Oops. Ah, well. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Let me know your thoughts. Personally, I don't like the way AI is going. I don't think it's going to be a force for good, and I think it should be a force for good, you know? Yeah, and I mean, that's my utopian vision of it, is it pretty much is able to detect early, like, most illnesses and deal with them. And, you know, long-term utopia, when I'll be long gone from the planet, I'd imagine. That no one has to do jobs they don't want to do anymore, and a job is just something that they want to do because they want to, and everyone has a decent life. I think that's it. Now, I do think though as well that what's the word for it? Where if you're better than someone else at something, you should get a benefit from that. I can't remember the term, but I believe in that. Like if you're really good at something, you should get more for doing that something than someone who's not so good at it. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions, and I'm just riding my bike talking out loud. So if you found an interest in it, please leave a comment. You know, let's have a chat on what your thoughts are. I'm always interested to hear them. And yeah, otherwise, I hope you're having a good day. And yeah, I hope AI doesn't make you as angry as it makes me, because it's not good for your blood pressure, apparently. And that's it. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. As always, a very special thank you to all of my patrons. And until next time, adios. Outro crew. If you could take all of the money being invested into AI and all of the resources and power and everything being invested into AI and do one thing with it, what would it be? Let me know. Bye, Outro crew.